When the Lord convicts me of stuff, I think, "Ugh, I should probably do a video on that." It's so funny because most of the videos I do kind of point to my own sins and errors. But what I wanted to talk to you about was something I think we all take for granted, specifically those of us in America, because this is such a land of abundance. And I'm not saying those of you in India and South Africa and England and these other countries that I know watch me have to consider. But what I want to talk about is very seriously about waste and wasting food. I know that America is the most abundant nation. I believe it's the most abundant nation on the earth. So we have everything. And we have had so much that it gets easy to go, oh, you know what? I don't like this flavor, this hamburger, or it's not cooked enough, or it's overcooked, or you know what, this is just a bad brand of such and such, and we throw it out. And I can't even begin to tell you how much I've been getting from the Holy Spirit. Christine, you'll have to answer for that. You'll have to answer for that food you just took out of the refrigerator and wasted. You had leftovers in your refrigerator and you chose to go out to eat. You see, when I was a little girl, we never went out to eat. I honestly, and with the greatest of conviction and truth I can think of, went out to eat maybe twice a year, maybe. But many of you were probably the same back in the 70s. You didn't go out much. We had home cooked meals. I remember when my mom got her first microwave and she didn't have to reheat my dad's food when he came home on the stove. It was like, wow. But because we got so much food and so much fast food and so much abundance, we've come to take it for granted. And remember, I've said in other videos, if something was a sin 4,000 years ago, it's still a sin today. And wasting is absolutely a sin, especially if we take it nonchalantly. Oh, well, I don't care. I know a lot of kids would joke because their parents would say to them, you better eat what's on your plate. There are starving kids in Africa, as my parents used to say. And I had some friends who said they tell their parents, wrap it up, send it to Africa. But I've been to Africa. I've been to Uganda. I've been to Tanzania. And I will tell you, when I went to the poorest part of Uganda and I saw that people there had one outfit, some had no shoes, some had one pair of shoes, they were ripped. I remember one lady sat in this cinder block, probably about the size of a closet in America, and it had in it simply a twin bed and then all of the bananas. And she sat on her steps selling bananas. Get a couple nickels, sell the bananas, and perhaps you can buy some food for your family. And I think about the amount of food on my plate in the first place. I eat more in one sitting than most of those people eat in an entire day, perhaps in more than 2 days. And they're so appreciative of the food that they have because they've learned, I just need enough to get to the next day. Now, remember, just because God gave us abundance doesn't mean there's no culpability. To whom much is given, much will be expected. What are your options then? Well, first of all, your options are to cook less, make less, buy less, to eat only what's on your plate, to put less on your plate. And what you don't eat, freeze, because you can eat it another time. There are so many that wish to have that food, and God gave it to you. What are you going to do with it? When I moved here from Italy, I remember when I first moved to Italy, and we're used to eating large portions. And I first went there and they brought you each piatti, each plate, right? So you get the first plate with maybe some olives, and then the next plate would have some prosciutto. The next plate would have a salad. And they were all very small. And I remember my piggish self looking at it going, I'll never be full. There's not enough food here. And before my 2 years in Italy was up, I remember being so contented, so enjoying, because what they do is serve you just enough so you can have camaraderie, talk. You satiate yourself. So when we flew back to America, and I remember getting into the airport and the first restaurant in America that we ate at, and they sat in front of me, what I now say is this trough. It's a platter of food. And I remember looking at it going, I'll never eat that much food. And I meant it. I was like, Dan, we're going to share plates from now on. Of course, we didn't do that all the time. And little by little, I began eating all of the food on my platter or taking it home. And most of the time, I'll eat my leftovers. But there are times where something looks like maybe it's been in there an extra day. Because remember, when I was a kid, if you had spaghetti on Monday, you had spaghetti on Tuesday. And if there's still leftovers, which with 4 kids, there wasn't any for Wednesday. But had there been, you'd eat spaghetti on Wednesday. We never thought twice about it. But I can't ever think of a time where my family threw food in the garbage. Again, I think a lot of us go to confession and we're like, well, I can't think of any of my sins. Well, maybe a venial sin. But we waste. Do you waste water? Do you waste other products the Lord has given you? He came that you might have life and have it abundantly. He loves that he's given you extras. The extra shoes, extra soap, pretty smelling foaming soap, dessert. But he doesn't want you to carelessly take it for granted. Not when you have siblings around the world who wish to have it. So just wanted to give you this food for thought. Haha, right? But think about it. This is a part of the virtues of self-control. We can control what we cook. We can control what we buy. We can control what we make. And we can certainly control what we eat. Think of him. Think of what Jesus would have you do. He loves you. He just wants you to become a better version of yourself. Let me know how this struck you. Are you more gluttonous and leave no leftovers? Or is this one striking a chord with you? I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for watching another informational Bacon Bit. And don't forget to always live your life sunny side up.